Hey, what's up, my weed and seed nerds? As promised, I'm out here to give a little bit of a garden tour, even though there are some things in the garden here that are probably going to go away, like that little fucker, and is going to be replaced, and I'm going to fill in some of these bare spots with some more genetics from Soulfire. Little story there is I had a buddy who is new into growing, and I had blessed him with a couple packs of seeds that I had extra from a Black Friday, I think it was, sale that I had gotten or was gifted by my wife. And a couple of the genetics that were in there that were like spin-offs of things I already had, and yeah, I just kind of considered them extra. I wasn't really, too into growing those ones, so I figured they were perfect to give away as gifts. So I had a buddy who's just started growing, and I gave him some seeds, and he had been growing some bag seeds before and did pretty well. So I guided him through that, and he did all right. So I decided this year I would bless him with some really good genetics, and he decided to pop all of them, and was unable to transplant all of them to the grow location because I think he lives in like an apartment, is able to pop them, but then transport them to a farm where him and I believe his dad grow with the person there, and they were only able to take 5 out of I think like 9 or 10 seeds. So anyway, he's going to be bringing the remainder here to add to my garden to grow out. So this is a current update, but after probably about another week, there's going to be 4 more plants in here. Well, minus that one. But anyway, in the meantime, this is what we're working with. And I do have a bit of a septoria showing in a couple of these, and that is not uncommon for this area. In fact, it's actually more uncommon not to have septoria here in northern Michigan. So there's a few of these that actually don't really have any signs of septoria at all, and those are ones that I'm going to keep an eye on. If septoria is super common in my area, which I know it is, if I can work with plants that are resistant to septoria, that would be really good for breeding for my area and for other Michigan or septoria prone areas. So yeah, right now I'm working, I got some lactobacillus that is culturing right now, as well as I'm trying to think of the other bacteria that I have. I think I got from Brandon Rust, or at least learned about it through Brandon Rust for septoria, and the name is eluding me at the moment. I'm going to be adding that out here, as well as doing a defoliation, which is almost kind of a running joke right now, because I think every single video I've put out up to date, I've said, yeah, I got to do a little defoliating because I'm very busy in my life. And, being on the defoliation process on top of it, as it's growing is kind of difficult. So I always seem to be a little behind on that. But it's not necessarily a bad thing, because if I was constantly defoliating, identifying an issue that shows up sometimes can be easier, like for pests. But as for like something like septoria, like if I didn't have these leaves here and it was spreading directly to the new growth, it'd be a little harder to spot. And I feel like because I kept some of the leaves on there, I'm able to see exactly which plants are, really getting hit the hardest and which ones are a little more immune. Like I know this one here, which is, and I'm going to go through the names of all of these. This one is Butterbalm number 2 from Soulfire Gardens, and this one is indeed getting a bit of septoria. So, I mean, it's not terrible right now, so I think with a good treatment of those bacterial inoculates, actually I think it might be a fungal. It's no, it's definitely a bacteria, because septoria is fungal, and it's a bacteria that fights the fungal infection, I do believe. And I'll give you more of the nerd scoop on that when I do it, because I got to refresh my brain on it. But I know I did it last year, and it worked incredibly well. And I had another buddy that was growing, he's local to the region, and he has told me that septoria has plagued his garden every year for years, for as long as he's been growing, and he has never found a total cure. And I thought it was funny that just us doing this, us being connected and on social media and being able to share these things is really what helps spread the knowledge of things like that, because he's been dealing with this problem for years and hasn't been able to resolve it. And me being new to this area, within the first grow, within my first season, I was able to solve that problem because I was listening to Brandon Rust on, I think, Instagram, and then later on a YouTube thing, listening to him talk about trichoderma. That's what it was. It just came to me. Trichoderma. And by inoculating with trichoderma, I was able to almost completely eliminate my septoria issue on the first go. I think I did like 2 inoculations with trichoderma, and that septoria was gone. So I was able to then pass that knowledge to him, and I think I've lost connection with him since, but hopefully his grow is doing much better this year with that knowledge of fighting septoria with trichoderma. So anyway, let's get into kind of what I got growing here. Here's this one right here. This is actually in my stake kind of washed away. Hey, sorry to go on an ADD side note, but if any of you have any recommendations for plant tags that do not wither away with water and sun, I've been experimenting with different things. But if you have any tried and true plant tags that do not wither away in the sun and the water, I have really been struggling with that. So if you guys got any recommendations, I would really love to hear them, because yeah, I'm struggling. So this one is a RS11. I can just barely see that there on the plant tag. Yep, RS11, that I believe I got as a freebie in a order from North Atlantic Seed Company. And I want to say it was Blimburn that did that seed. So that is an RS11. This one over here where I started and then ADD'd my ass away from it is actually a Mendo Breath. So this is Mendo Breath. Again, another freebie that I got from a order from North Atlantic Seed Company. And this one, as you can see, like I said, it's really showing quite a bit of susceptibility to that septoria. But this one, I intentionally did not top it, because I've been growing for quite a while, guys, and it has always sort of been the standard practice to top and trellis your plants for bigger yields, and it does. But there's just something about that original Christmas tree shaped cannabis tree that I've always wanted to enjoy in a grow. So this year I decided at least one plant was not going to get topped, because I just want to see what it looks like in its natural state, just because I think it's just beautiful. So I really want to see that. And yeah, so that's the one I chose. This is a Mendo Breath pheno from seed that I'm going to do that with. Over here we got this little fucker that is probably going to get pulled because it is really underperforming. This is another Mendo Breath pheno, and it really stunted once I put it in the ground. And yeah, I don't know, like I said, I got 4 very mature plants that will be coming into the garden here within a week or so, so I might call that one out and replace it. The two strains, I'm trying to remember the two strains that I gave him. One of them for sure was Yacht Party by Soulfire Gardens. And the other one, I want to say, was like a lemon something, lemon spritz or something like that. Lemon something. I'll get back to you on that when I have the plants. But yeah, so we got Mendo Breath, we got an RS11, and going down the line here, this one I think I already mentioned. This was a Butterbalm pheno number 2, which we know what that looks like from the indoor garden. So this was a plant that did clone from the indoor garden and is now outside. And so we got to see what that looks like as indoor, and now we're going to get to see what this looks like as outdoor. And same thing with this one, and actually these next 3, these are all ones that cloned from the indoor garden. And I have an anomaly over there that I would like to talk about. I'm actually really excited to talk about that, even though these all kind of show it. So I have this issue when I go from indoor grow, cloning, and bringing them outdoors. Even though I am in, like I had mentioned in a previous video, I'm in 16 plus hours of daylight here in northern Michigan this time of year. You can kind of see, I mean, we are obviously in veg, but you can kind of see that staggered node growth that indicates that it's flowering. And I do see, man, I'm really struggling with the camera today. I do see pistils. So it's always like they kind of stress flip to flower and then never really come out of it all the way. And I got the worst case example of that over there, which I'll get to. But they all kind of do it. It just seems like some respond better to going into veg than others. And I think this is an example of one that like, I feel like once that light cycle really flips to flower, these are just going to absolutely, they're going to be so fast to finishing in flower because they're already like a quarter of the way there. You know, they've already got a start on it. But anyway, if you guys know anything about that, about like, you know, taking clones and putting them outside and them just always sort of being in a, you know, semi-flower state, I'd love to learn more about that, because I don't know, it kind of deters me from wanting to grow and clone, because this one over here, which, oh yeah, by the way, this is Night Tripper number 1, and this one is as well, and they're both doing about the same. Yeah, this one seems to be struggling with nitrogen a little bit more, but I can fix that once I defoliate, maybe add some more fish emulsion and compost tea to that. And anyway, so this one is Butterbalm number 1. So out of the 3 Butterbalm phenos, the only one that didn't clone is the one I wanted to keep. Go figure. But anyway, this is kind of what I was talking about. Now, last year I had a strain called Terpwin Station that did this same thing. It was a really good looking plant, and I really was excited to see how it would do outdoors. But then I brought it outdoors, and I actually had it in a 20 gallon fabric pot, and it like went into this weird mode where it was in veg but also in flower, which is kind of what I'm seeing here, where it's just getting this really wonky growth. You know, 3 leaves, you got the nodes are kind of clustered, we got all these little tiny spindly things coming off. It's just doing all this really weird growth, you know, like looking into the middle, it's like a jungle. It's just very bizarre. It doesn't really, it's almost like it doesn't know what to do, and I really need to do better with the camera here focusing. But it really just doesn't, it's almost like it doesn't know what to do. Like it wants to flower, but the light cycle's in veg, so it's vegging, but it just wants to be in flower, you know, and making colas, but the light cycle doesn't agree, but the plant wants to do, you know. I'm even getting like crystals, like I'm getting yeah, like I'm getting some little bit of shine on some of these leaves, like they just want to flower. So I don't understand, I don't really know why, but like some of these cultivars from clone, like I get them in this weird state where they're half and half, like they're technically in veg, but they just want to be in flower. And that Terpwin Station, the end result was terrible. It grew just like this all season long, and then once it came flower time, it started to flower and it was beautiful, but the structure was just so wonky, and the flower quality was just, I mean, for flower, it was terrible. It probably would have made a good washer for, you know, hash or something, but, you know, it was just really kind of a bummer, because some of these cultivars going from clone, like this one will probably do fine. This one, you know, really strong, sturdy branches, you know, kind of getting the good growth going where everything kind of, you know, it makes sense the way it's growing. But then you get this one and it just makes no freaking sense what it's doing. Look at that freaking branch. It's like it just wants to be a cola, but it's in veg. So I don't really know what to make of that, but it's a real pain in my ass. And it kind of deters me from wanting to grow clones outside, because as opposed to this, which is a perfectly beautiful, gorgeously vegging, strong, healthy plant from seed. And this one is kind of special to me. I'm really excited to see how this turns out, because this one is one that I did myself. So this is Blueberry Space Cheese, which is not really an official name, but what it was is Space Cheese BX1, I believe, or BX3, something from Mr. Toad from Boneyard Seeds, his Space Cheese line. And I found a male from that and hit it to a blueberry muffin. And then I found a male in that and hit it to a greenhouse cheese, which is like a Buddha skunk selection. And try not to go too far into that, but I will say this about that greenhouse cheese. It was growing over here last year in a fabric pot. A lot of people say the skunk is gone and the skunk is dead and this, that, and the other. And I'm going to tell you what, that greenhouse cheese, which if anyone knows cheese, it is actually a skunk 1 phenotype. It's like a variant of skunk 1. And even though skunk 1 technically isn't very cheesy, it's actually kind of fruity. And cheese isn't necessarily skunky, it's cheesy. So I got a pheno that was neither cheesy nor fruity. And walking past that plant in veg smelled like a skunk sprayed my garden, I swear. And I don't get that out here right now with any of these, but that one did. That was absolutely like old school as fuck. Like it was very cheesy, or very skunky, and not at all cheesy. So anyway, I thought that was kind of unique to be experiencing something that a lot of people say is gone. Even though I will say this, in all honesty and transparency, I'm not saying that I have the skunk or anything like that, because when it went to flower and it was dried and cured, it kind of lost that skunkiness and just kind of became like some old school chronic, you know. But anyway, I hit it with some blueberry pollen anyway, and this is the result. So I'm really excited to see how this turns out. And yeah, I think I did say what this one was. This was the Butter Balm 2. So we have Butter Balm, Night Tripper 1, Night Tripper 1, Butter Balm, and hey, look at that. We got a little ladybug over here putting in work. Where'd it go? Oh, did I lose it? Anyway, we got a little ladybug here putting in work for me. Appreciate that. And yeah, so this is just kind of a quick little update where everything is in veg. You know, we're sitting at about, these plants are almost about chest high right now. I got a little bit of work to do with these. I'm going to try to get some more clover going. I tried to plant some clover and some of it took. Some of the clover took, but some of it didn't. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys posted, keep you updated once we go into flower, or maybe once I get those other seedlings in here, and we'll see how the garden progresses. But I appreciate you guys coming along. Hopefully you're enjoying this journey. I'm really, like, I obviously, as you can see, I'm no pro. I'm just a guy who's out here grateful to be doing this and not having to worry about the helicopters anymore. So if you guys can agree to that and want to join along and listen to me ramble like an idiot and maybe learn some stuff in the process, we'll learn together, because I'm learning a lot. Stay tuned, and I appreciate you being here. Catch you later, guys. See ya.